It's not your typical happily ever after. Twists and turns run rampant in best-selling author Soman Chainani's The Princess Game. We have Soman with us this morning, and you're well known for writing fantastical stories for all ages, and this one is no exception. Tell us more about your story.
So The Princess Game came out of, the fact that I love fairy tales and I've been writing them for a very long time. It's kind of what I specialize in. But I had spent the last almost 10 years working on the series called The School for Good and Evil, which was, sort of a fantasy about a fairy tale school and kind of skewed towards, younger readers. And I had the opportunity when Amazon came and generously, asked a few of us to write modern day fairy tales with a twist for a slightly older audience. I saw the opportunity to kind of break out of jail and do something kind of renegade and edgy. And I started thinking about a school where the team mascot was the princes. And so you had these princes at the school just going, to a normal, ordinary high school. And at this school, girls were turning up dead. And the question was who at the school was killing them. And you would have these two cops go undercover, a young cop and an older cop, a student and teacher, looking amongst their own students and colleagues to see who actually was the princess killer. And so being able to combine these genres of fairy tale and serial killer and detective story just felt like a true gift to be able to experiment in. So I was very grateful to Amazon for letting me have the opportunity.
Well, it's so unique too because it's not every day you hear about a serial killer in a fairy tale. It's a nice way to add a twist to that.
And also, being able to combine these genres of detective story, high school story, serial killer genre, fairy tale, all in one. I sort of thought of it a little bit as like Seven, that David Fincher movie about, the killer theme to the seven deadly sins, meet something like 21 Jump Street, where, cops go undercover at a school. So I really, really just enjoyed working with all these genres I love.
And you're a filmmaker, so how do you think your experience with film influenced your writing skills?
I think sometimes, novelists and sort of people who are trained specifically as novelists first tend to focus more on the interior motivations of a character and be in their thought process more than anything. And I think when you come from film, it's based in action and the present moment. And so I tend not to write with much flashback. I tend not to write too much in a character's head. I'm more concerned with what they actually do, and why they do it. And so action becomes the thing that propels me forward because screenwriting really was my first training.
And coming back to filmmaking, you mentioned it a little bit earlier that The School for Good and Evil is actually being adapted into a film, and it's got a great director, Paul Feig. He's done Bridesmaids, The Heat, the rebooted Ghostbusters. That's pretty big.
Yeah, he's amazing. Paul's great. He just left for London last week to start prep on the movie, which will start shooting, I think, in March. It's been a long road to get here, and shooting a movie during a pandemic is no easy thing. But at the end of the day, I think people are hungry for unusual stories, and being able to take the fairy tales we know and turn them on their head, I think is something that really works for any age and any audience.
And when you adapt a book into a film, sometimes some things are left to the book only. But is there something you'd love to see from it on the big screen specifically?
I mean, I think for me, it's always the characters that I've created that really, make me excited, like who's going to be cast in certain roles. Like even when I was writing Princess Game, one of the things I did to make it different than other short stories is there's no description in the story. It's told entirely in character dialogue, so that by the end of a short story, you have a very, very clear sense of who the suspects are, who the detectives are, and who the killer is. And to me, that's the fun of it, because if it ever gets turned into film or TV, I want to be able to know that cast member is sort of operating from the character that I drew out for them.
All right, Soman, we appreciate your time and can't wait to see it all come into play. Meantime, The Princess Game is available now. It's part of the Faraway collection from Amazon Publishing. Go to apub.com for more information. Amazon Publishing, a proud sponsor of Las Vegas Morning Blend.